All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish up our structural plans. Yours will look a lot different than this one. This is kind of the completed one that we'll get to, but really we just have two last steps before we kind of call out our different keynotes on our roof framing plan. So first, I'm just going to go ahead and type dim style. And just be careful, there's like two different ones, so just make sure you click on this paint brush little icon, and you can see as well everywhere my mouse is going to be at, it's highlighted. I'm going to click here, and then this property bar will show up. I'm actually just going to delete this one because I was creating it. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's just go ahead and go new over here. And let's name this structural. Hit continue. And now this will open us up into our property boxes. So we're just going to adjust some of the parameters here. And you'll see it gives you this little viewer or preview of what your dimension will kind of look like before we start adjusting. So we're not changing a ton. But yeah, let's go through this. So under primary units, okay, leave as architectural. Leave it as a 1/2 inch, not stacked. Yeah, so this page looks great. And let's go over here to fit. I'm just checking this one. So make sure it's got either text as well as besides. Make sure it's 1. Again, a lot of these are default, so we should be okay. Let's keep moving. So text. This you may need to change if for some reason it's not 6 inches, but just make sure you've got 6 inches. You can manually adjust it or just type it in here. Got 6 inches, standard, left to right, centered, and above. So again, everything looks great here. So symbols and arrows. Okay, so again, these all look good too. So architectural, tick, tick, and then closed, filled. And my arrow size will match my text size, so just make sure that's 6 inches. Break size at 1/8. And we are okay here, 45 and 1.5. The last little box I'm going to check. Yeah, mine looks really good. I may have used a different one, but yeah, just kind of check all these on yours. So the thing I have had to change before is this. The extend beyond should be 6. Baseline spacing should be 6. And over here as well should be 6 and 6. So once I've checked all these, I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. I did not go into the alternate units or the tolerances, so hit OK. And now we've got our structural kind of highlighted. I'm just going to go ahead and do set current and close it out. Okay, so we've really got two things to do before we start finishing the rest of our keynotes. Do not worry about any of these detail callouts. We're going to kind of handle that week 10. So again, do not worry about any of these details. We're going to kind of match them with what you've drawn with your hand details. So again, don't worry about those, and don't worry about this section cut as well. So that's the only thing. I may just delete them so it's not throwing you all off. Okay. All right, so now we should have two different types of trusses. If you all remember, yeah, again, this is an old one. But once I show you this once, you should be okay. So we should have a standard truss, which was our truss type A. That's above our living room. So I'm going to go up here to dimension. Now I'm going to dimension from this corner here all the way to this corner. And hopefully we've got a box, which is 26 feet. So this is just checking. And again, all those parameters we just changed in dim style is now matching with what we're kind of drawing. So that's great. So I'm just checking here. So my truss that's running, let's just say from north to south, is 26 feet total. But just be careful here because we offset our fascia from this outside wall. So we'll kind of look at the point loads, but really our load is going to be, you know what, let's just start drawing it. I'll explain this. Okay, so I'm going to go up here to my line tool. If you're in the structural layer, great. If you're in the zero line, great. Okay, and then I'm just going to draw. Let's pointer focus. Let's see if it stays. Okay, so I'm just going to draw. Let's move this down. My ortho mode on. There we go. So I'm going to come over 26 feet. Okay, and so this is the overall length of my truss. And then again, we offset. So I'm just going to draw a quick little guide line at the very end here. And the very end here. Doesn't matter, this dimension. So I'm going to offset this line 18 inches or 1.5 feet. Because again, this is where our truss is sitting on our wall. So again, it'll kind of start making sense in a little bit. I'm going to delete these other two. And now just based off of our, I don't think I even have it in here. Nope. So I may just need a reference. What my slope was on my roof. So I had a 4 and 12, but again, I think some of you have an 8 and 12, so that's totally fine. But I'm just going to go ahead and draw mine as a 4 and 12 slope. So a number of different ways to do this. I'm going to show you, which I think is the easiest way. So I'm going to find, with my O snap turned on and midpoint selected, I'm going to find the midpoint of this line and just go ahead and draw it up. And now I'm going to zoom in my bottom left corner. So now again, this is just my slope. So I am coming over. You can do feet too if it's easier. So my rise and run. So I'm coming over. Let's just do inches. So 12 inches, typing 12 down here. And for every 12 inches I'm coming over, I'm going up 4 inches. So I'm just drawing a vertical line from here. So now we've just identified our slope. So we can go ahead and draw it in like this. And really now the next step is just extending, and see my ortho's turned on. So I'm going to turn that off. You can see this little, let me zoom in on that again. So all I'm going to do here is extend this point. You can see when it's perfectly lined up, I've got a little green it looks like, but again, I'm just going to highlight all the way over to my center point. It should highlight that for you. So once we've identified it on one, great, that's all you need to do. And just bring it back, because now we've just figured out the overall height of this roof on this truss. I'm going to go ahead and leave this middle line in. You can delete these lines. I'm just going to delete this one. You know what? Let's delete both of them. Okay, but again, a number of different ways to do this. You could calc this out real quick, because again, the midpoint that we figured out should be whatever it was. Oh, here, let's dimension it. Just going to show you the other different way. So our center of this triangle, overall length of this triangle was 13 feet. Rise and run is 4 and 12. So again, just do an equal if triangle to label that out. But either way you want to do it, I think that's the easiest. Okay, now we're just going to finish our truss. So again, our truss is built with these different chords. So now I'm going to draw a line from here to here. And this will allow me to find the midpoint of this chord. So I'm going to draw this up. Perfect. And then from here, I'm just going to go ahead and finish my truss. And that's really it. So again, these are just each one of these members, and we're not even going to identify what it is, but let's just say it's a 2x4. So we've got a 2x4 running point to point, another 2x4 going vertical to support this, as well as over here. And these again are all prefabricated and then just shipped to site. So So I'm going to go ahead and just mirror this. So I've got both of these lines clicked. I'm going to hit my mirror. It's asking me where I want it to mirror on. So from here to here. And then just be careful. It asks me down here. Sometimes it shows up above. Do you want to erase source object? I'm going to hit no. Okay. And now we've got our truss. And now I'm just going to go ahead and name it. So I'm going to steal this text box over here. Control V. So first, let's name it. So this is going to be truss type A. I want this to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to highlight this text and make this 1 foot. Okay. Move it, make it look pretty. And then I'm just going to notify or lay out my scale here. So I'm just copying and paste over another text again. And then this is going to be scale 1/8 of an inch. And if this lightning bolt shows up, see, I don't want it to be stacked. So I'm going to do unstacked equals 1 foot dash 0 inches. Okay, so again, we're calling it out here on our truss because you'll see when we print this in the next few, or probably in 2 other videos, it's a different, or if it was a different scale, we just wanted to identify it, but in our example, it's the exact same. So anyways, just whenever we're drawing a detail, it's typical or standard to put the scale. Okay, so one last step, I'm just going to go ahead and show where this load actually is. So again, just make a triangle. It does not have to be perfect. Because again, I'm just identifying. So once I drew a triangle, which mine's pretty bad, I'm just going to go ahead and hatch. I'm going to use my solid fill to identify, again, where this truss is loaded on. So it's loaded on the wall below. And once I'm happy with it, I'm just going to go ahead and copy from this point to this point. Wow, that's a bad triangle. Okay. So good, this truss is done. The last thing I just want to do is, again, for my framer who's going to be building this, is just dimension this out. So I'm just going to put in really 2 different dimensions. So one is, see, I screwed up a little bit. We're okay. So I'm going to go from point load to point. Draw this down. Awesome. And now I'm just going to go ahead from this load to my overhang. Again, I want these lining up with the other text. So here to here. Lining up. Okay, and someone would have called me on this in class, but this truss is kind of wrong right now, and I'm going to show you why. Glad I made this mistake. So really, turn back on my ortho. This truss is going to be supported all the way up here. So from this point over, because again, I didn't think about my overhangs. This was like what you guys drew on your last test. So again, I just need to shift this whole thing up. And again, I did this bad, but I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up pretty quick. So really, I want my truss. Once everything is highlighted, I can go ahead and use the trim tool. Again, let's just clean this up. Perfect. Delete this bottom line. Again, a couple minor things I need to clean up still. So again, this is going to be actually supported in the center. And same thing. Okay, so this is again how your truss should look, except for this one minor thing. This triangle. Needs to be shifted up slightly. So I'm just going to go ahead and go move point. Okay. Go ahead and move that triangle on the other side, and you are done with your truss. Okay, and you're just going to do 2 of these. So you also have a truss, I believe. Again, mine's kind of swapped from what we did in class. I think we did our truss in our living room. So just go ahead and draw your truss type B right below. And it's just going to be slightly different size, but just go ahead and lay that out. What was the one last thing? Oh, our roof calcs, yeah. So you'll see these little star icons right here. This is again why I gave you all these keynotes, but go ahead and calc out, and ours is going to be a little different, but go ahead and just figure out the overall living room. Yeah, where are we at? We're at this one for now. So again, I would leave these in just as reference, or you can make a new one and just copy paste whatever you want. But the thing we're concerned right now are these 2. So we've got garage attic as well as our second floor attic. So you'll just see I'm calcing out, and again, this is old, so please update this. So for my garage attic, I'm just going to go ahead and figure out the overall area. So yeah, a couple different ways to do this. You can go ahead and just type in area. We want the overall, right in my wall. So my garage, oops, hit enter, and then it shows up down here. So our garage area right here, and this is just the flat area, which is totally fine, but our garage area is 373 square feet. So from here, yeah, we're close, but a little bit different. Ugh, terrible. We're just going to update our text and update our calcs. Yeah, I'm having issues scrolling down. Dang it. So let's just walk through this when I have this camera thing turned on. So we're going to adjust our garage right here to be 373. And again, the math stays in here in our command bar, so you can see it right here. So 373. And we're pretty much just splitting this attic into 2 different calcs, our high area and our low area. So the high area, we're using one type of vent, which is this gable vent that I'm just giving you the size of it. And then the low area of the roof, we're going to use an eave vent. So again, just go ahead and do these calcs. So we're doing 352. This is the amount of square footage, or pretty much the ratio that it's got to be ventilated. Don't worry about this number ever again, but I'm just giving this to you, so you're dividing it by, this is just saying for you need a vent every 150 square feet. So I'm dividing my overall area divided by 150. So I'm figuring out I need a total square foot of net free flow ventilation of 2.35 square feet. And again, if you go to Home Depot, you see a vent. They're usually 4 by 10 on the eaves, and then your bigger one, the one that we're going to use, is right down here. So again, I'm just giving you the vent size is a 14 by 24. So that overall area is, oh shoot, I didn't tell you. Oh yes, I did. Yeah, but anyways, I'm just doing the cross-sectional area of this to figure out how many of these vents I need for these 2 areas. So 2.35, which was the total vent sizes that I need. I'm dividing this in 2 because again, I wanted to figure out the high space and the low space. So I need 1.17 square feet of total high gable vents, and same thing on the low. And now I'm just dividing it by these sizes that I gave you. So again, for your eave vent, this eave is 22.5 by 3 inches tall. So the overall cross-sectional area is 0.236. So I'm just determining how many vents I need. And same thing down here. Oh, that's right, I missed it. Yep, same thing. So 1.17 divided by the area of this gable vent to figure out how many vents I need. And here I'm just saying how I am calling them out on my plan. So the 1 star denotes the E vent. The 2 stars denotes the gable vent. So go ahead and just draw these in. So again, 2 stars up here on your gable vents, 1 star on your E vent. Show you what this is real quick. Gable vent. So here's our gable vents, but again, we used a rectangle one. Here's your E vent. We kind of did a similar one to this. Okay, so that's it for this. That'll take you through your roof. Just make sure you're doing all of your callouts, drawing your second truss. But again, this finished product should look something like this. And don't worry about, you know what, let's even make it extra credit. So if you want to do these little patios or porches, do those as extra credit, but really they're very similar to what your roof is. I just did not go over them. So you don't have to worry about those unless you want some extra credit. Okay, and that detailed out in the packet, but it's a little scrambled. So that's it for the roof. I'm going to do the next one for your roof framing.